My king, I fought in your name. I bled for your banner. Will you not speak of my victory?
Victory. You mistake applause for purpose. You crave to be seen, not to serve. Tell me, young knight, if no one signed your name, would your blade still rise? Praise is a leash. The moment you need it, you've already bowed. Fight because the battle demands it, not because someone's watching. When you act for approval, you become his slave. When you act for purpose, you become king.
That's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But, you know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing, you know, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires. And freedom of speech is so important these days. I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore. It's a sin. Not to joke about all the bad things, that's a waste. Because that's exactly what we should joke about. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, you're bulletproof.
This lion, he's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's laying down under a tree in the middle of Africa. He's so big. He's so hot. He doesn't want to move. Now, the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him. Coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now, the other animals, they notice this. And they start to move in. The jackals, hyenas, they're barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is.
On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Fun little intro today, I thought. Got a lot to cover. A lot of... Not that much, I'll be honest. I did the show yesterday. Hopefully you guys checked out my Saturday show. I know it's not normal for me to do a show on Saturday, but certainly was something I was trying to do to make today a little easier. Got buddies coming over for the football game. John Fetterman makes full recovery after sustaining injuries from his fall. So I guess he was kind of right. If you thought he was ugly before... Just wait until you see him now. But yeah, he's doing well, smiling. So again, I think this dude's one of the rock stars right now, frankly. People disagree maybe because he's a Democrat, but I think a lot of people are starting to see that Titles are a funny thing, and kind of like the intros talked about. If you're doing something because you want people to watch you, or you're doing something for that small audience in front of you, you're missing the larger picture. It's one of the reasons why live shows are kind of tricky, because a lot of people get the feedback from the live audience and they assume that's what everyone thinks, and generally it's not quite the case. The people that you're hearing from in the audience is not a fair representation of your entire audience, but it is what it is. I don't expect people to believe that, but it's one of the main things they teach you in radio right off the bat is you don't listen to the audience when it comes to programming, when it comes to the music you play, when it comes to certain things like that, because the audience will lead you where the audience wants you to go, but that's not necessarily where a good show goes. So again, Jets cornerback Chris Boyd is in critical condition. I guess he got shot, which is messed up, out in New York City. Took place on West 38th Street near 7th Avenue shortly after 2 a.m., obviously in front of a bar, probably arguing with someone, I guess. Though strange. Sunday morning, I don't know when they played. When did the Jets play? I don't know if they were Thursday or if they were Monday. Maybe but it'd be weird to be partying like that the day before a game, so one's got to assume, I guess. Donald Trump was questioned about this massive lawsuit that's potentially coming against Gavin Newsom, and I've got some more bad news for California a little bit later here in the show, but check this out.
Lawsuit will be taking place, but will be taking place concerning the California hoax, where they're trying to get 5 more seats. And California is one of the most dishonest elections ever. They send out tens of millions of ballots to people all over the place. Many of those people get 2 and 3 ballots, then they come back. California is a disgrace on voting, and they're doing something that is very illegal. So we are or will be suing California on the 5 seats.
Department of Justice will be?
The Department of Justice, yes.
Thank goodness for Chef Boyardee. That's all I can say. I wouldn't eat that crap if I were you, though. It might kill you. Dog food's probably healthier. 71% of voters favor Trump's proposed $2,000 tariff dividend checks. What's awesome about this is this kind of that Mamdani approach, right? Make a promise to give something, except Trump's actually got the ability to back up his promises. It's not bullshit promises like Mamdani and what's the chick's face up in Seattle. No. They're making promises they can't keep in no way, shape, and form. But 71% of voters favor the proposed 2,000 tariff dividend. Now, here's the sad part. This is true, okay? This means right here, well, first off, there's always a percentage of the poll that didn't answer the question, so no answer. I don't know what those numbers are. I'd be very curious. But it means roughly 29% hate Trump. Now, that sucks, but that's a pretty small percentage. They've been talking 70-30. We need to get to 80-20. Everybody's been talking 80-20. We're already there. No, we're not. Not quite. Almost. When we get to 80-20, done. Done skis. We got this. Right now, we've got better polling, I'm sure Trump does anyway, but it's 29% versus 71%. That's a damn good poll. This is literally people. You don't want to get free money? You obviously hate Trump. So just under 30% hate Trump. That's not bad. We're making progress, guys. We're making progress. Former Federal Reserve Bank governor had violated stock trading rules. Ethics report concludes. I think they got rid of her already. She stepped down because of this, but this was back in like August. But they did find through the review, if you will, that she did in fact break her ethics agreements. So the fact that she got booted out of the Fed was a good thing, to say the least. Crazy going on in the market. So I don't know, futures right off the bat, we'll see if they're still probably low because it's early in the day. We've seen obviously gold and silver down a bunch, which again I keep saying is a good thing at the moment because it's going to spike. It's going to spike soon. There is some nastiness coming. Don't know when, don't know exactly where, but it can't be too much longer. Kind of can't, because a lot of stuff needs to start happening before the elections, but they're going to try to time it as best they can. I think Trump's literally turning the submarine towards the torpedo, so we're speeding things up as best we can. And I think the plan's going. Again, plans never go according to plan. They have to be variables. You have to be able to pivot and deal. But I believe he's demonstrated how brilliant he is. And I think to a large extent, we're controlling the timing. We're controlling what's happening. And even when it comes to Epstein, which we will talk about, I think we're controlling a lot more. I think Trump's been playing 5D chess on this. So, all said, gold and silver down a bunch, but cool. Well, 2.5% gold, silver's down over 5%. It's still over $50, by the way, which is shocking because it's had a few bad days over the past week. Had a couple really good days, and then it had a few bad days. And here it is, still above $50. So that's pretty shocking. Gold's still above 4,000. These are key marks that they will likely not be able to get below. They'll try, maybe. Silver's got a chance. Another 40 cents. That'd be a big, big drop in one day, which could very well happen. What's tripping a lot of people out right now is Bitcoin. Shoot, it was down $1,000 a little earlier in the day, so it looks like it's recovered some of that. But Bitcoin is down a bunch, down to 94,000, which again, I've never been a big fan of any of that stuff. You guys know that. I don't make any minces about it. XRP is down also. Wow, it's down to $2. It was up at $3. Probably should have sold it when I had it, but I would have just gotten cash for it. So whatever. I'm still hanging on to it. We'll see what happens with this stuff. But yeah, crypto market is not good. Dogecoin and it's down 3.79%. Cardano's down over 3%. Bitcoin was down a bit earlier, but 0.46% on 100 grand is a lot of money. So again, it was worse earlier, and it's making some pride. It looks like it's falling back down again, though. Anyway, whatever the case is, got a lot of crazy going on. Just one thing that is a good investment when the world is falling apart is precious metals. It's a horrible investment any other time. If everything else is good or other aspects are good, this is not the best place to put your money. When you've got a heavily inflating currency, this is the best place to put your money. It protects your buying power, and that's the whole point of precious metals. So what you're doing is you're taking the buying power from your 401k or your IRA, you're taking the buying power from it and preserving it until time in future when we can convert over to either the new currency, likely, or just in a lot of cases, you could literally offer up in some cases, hey, here's what I've got. I'd like to buy a car with it, or I'd like to make a down payment on a home, or whatever. So we're going to have options in the future, right? Even if you've got to convert it yourself to hopefully not Treasury notes, Federal Reserve notes. I don't believe that's going to be happening. I would certainly wait until we see the Fed coming out of the picture, and that's got to come at some point. It has to. Otherwise, none of the stuff that we're doing right now makes any sense. Like, that is one of the most key ingredients that needs to happen, and something needs to happen to make that make sense. That's coming, and that's where this is protecting you, that bump in the night, whenever it comes. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. We've got a freaking sweet special going on this November. Got to close by the end of November. Has to close by the end of this month. Today's the 16th. Takes 5 to 6 days to close a sale if you got all your ducks in a row. If you drag your feet, it can take as long as it needs to. But 5 to 6 days as far as everything that's got to happen, all the steps and stages. They literally procure precious metals, actual physical metals that are yours with your name on it. They'll literally send them to you if you have to or want, but that's considered payout. So get them moved over, tax-free, penalty-free. It's like a sideways move. You'll be stoked. You'll get way more of the product, and then you can think about whatever you want to do down the road. But tax-free, penalty-free, you're moving everything sideways into precious metals, physical metals put into a trust. On top of that, Goldco is going to give you up to 10% free silver. Silver's the key, because silver's still got a bit of a multiplier baked into it, on top of the fact that it's still going to go up. But you'll actually probably make a little on the silver. Gold, you're going to hold your buying power. 1 ounce of gold right now will buy me a fully handmade tailored suit. Back in 1910, 1 ounce of gold would buy me a fully handmade tailored suit. Like, it's held the buying power. You're not going to get rich. Gold's been around forever. Silver's kind of the weird thing because we use it in solar panels, we use it in battery technology, so it's got usage on top of just being pretty, right? Gold is used in some stuff. You've got connectors that are gold. They don't oxidize, and they certainly are excellent conductors of electricity. So there is some utilizations of gold as well. All that said, you're going to get up to 10% free silver. That's a big woohoo. On top of that, out of my pocket, anything over $10,000, I'm going to give you 1% out of my pocket. 1% free silver to you from me as a way of saying thank you, as a way of trying to help. This is a time to get out of this situation. This is a time to get out of their system. Hopefully this is grabbing your attention. We've got a 5 to 6 day process to move your funds from Fidelity, BlackRock, Vanguard, wherever they are, into a precious metals IRA. Get the information, learn how you can do it, give us your 4 data points, hit the button, get ready to make a phone call. You're going to get a free Ronald Reagan coin, I think, on top of that. Little half-ounce collectible, 0.999% pure, beautiful coin. Ronald Reagan saluting. It's freaking awesome. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Take advantage of that extra free 1% from you. Costing me a little bit, but it's worth it. And I think it's going to make a huge difference for you guys. And up to 10% free silver from Goldco. Up to 11% free silver. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that nasty system before that nasty system gets out of you. All right, so we got a number of places where I consider them to be failing. Failing badly, in fact. January 6th panel. Well, it cost twice what previous estimates were, and significantly over what a standard committee makes. And and they even paid themselves some extra money in the process. A whole lot of nastiness is coming out of this, and they didn't keep the records. That's right. Like, you spent all this money and we have zero to show for it. But first off, it had a projected budget of $9.3 million. It cost $17.4 million. Of course, they paid high producers or high-priced producers to create that movie, right, that made everyone look guilty. So it should have cost $9.3 million, almost cost double that, right? Also, on top of that, a normal House committee usually costs about $6 million, which is fucking ridiculous still, by the way. Let's not even get started there, Dan. Normally $6 million. They're saying it should have cost 1.5 times that. Ended up costing, 3 times that? Basically? Yeah. So a lot of nastiness is coming out of this. We're going to continue to see that. We're going to continue to bring it out. We're going to continue. This is going to be very, very bad for everybody. All SNAP beneficiaries will need to reapply for benefits, says the Agricultural Secretary. I'm going to keep pushing this idea. I haven't heard anyone else pushing it, but I'm hoping someone starts talking about it soon, or at least tells me, or I can find out why it's a horrible idea. I'm happy to back away from the idea. I still think it's an amazing idea, and I think what it does, and what I'm suggesting, and I've said before, talked about yesterday, talked about Friday, talked about Sunday, is SNAP benefits, I think, should be federalized completely. Meaning, because it's already paid federal, meaning you should reapply to the federal government via their website. They prove and verify that you are who you say you are and that you actually are in need. And then they, federal government, issues the EBT cards and mails them to you. That way, we don't send the money to the state and let the state distribute it. The states will sue, but this is really a benefit program by the federal government, and it has no business going through state hands. It doesn't need to. There is no reason for that. In fact, we know for a fact it's being taken advantage of because the state's getting their hands on it. We also know that many dead people have gotten benefits. Who's making advantage of that? Well, the states likely, because dead people don't necessarily use the EBT card. I'm sure the states are maybe aware of it. Maybe they keep that money, or they just keep it in an account, and then they just keep cutting tops out, bits out of that and using that budget for other stuff. Again, they've dipped into the Social Security money, guys. The Congress did way back when. They still have. I mean, frankly. These things are meant to support themselves, and they don't. So we've got to get this under control, and the idea of them reapplying is a phenomenal idea. I certainly want to see that happen no matter what. Even if we continue to give the money to the states, it's still, we got to reapply and make sure that nobody gets it that doesn't apply for it, period. And if for some reason it's difficult, call this phone number, right? We'll send someone out if we have to verify you from that distance. Otherwise, we'll make it easy. Taxpayer outrage. Dead people paid hundreds of millions in Medicaid and food stamps. Literally, we've got a problem in California where, I think it was California specific, well, many states, many of the blue states for sure, red states probably too, but they literally got Medicaid payments that they've requested payment from the government on for people that were already dead. So we've got scandal happening all over the place. Much like the insurance companies taking the Obama money and then just jacking their rates and screwing everybody. Same thing's happening with Medicaid. Medicaid's like this funding apparatus that they can just take advantage of because nobody ever asks questions. They just continue to fund higher and higher amounts of money, more and more taxpayer-funded stuff. But that needs to get under control. It needs to stop, obviously. Otherwise, we're never going to take this and get it fixed, right? Like, we've got to start working on this. Republicans clash over surprise phone record provision that could enrich senators. I've got a huge problem with this, frankly. I don't care if I'm bummed, and there's legal apparatus that they should go through, but I don't think they should get more of my taxpayer money. I don't think Lindsey Graham should get $500,000 of my dollars at all. I don't give a shit that someone borrowed his phone. We've been spied on. We've been blacklisted. We've been fucked every which way. Fuck you, Lindsey Graham. Suck it up, because welcome to the game. So no, you shouldn't get to take a bunch of our money because you got damaged. Sue the fucking phone company. Sue them. Make them pay you. So the House is pissed off about this big time because this got snuck in. This was a little bullshit thing that one of those 8 senators snuck in. Probably all 8 of them got together and said, here's an idea. Or 10 GOP senators. And again, I'm not happy they got their phone records spied on by any stretch of the imagination, but fucking suck it up. I don't give a shit. Rest of us have gotten screwed. We've been spied on every which way. You haven't done anything to help us, Senator Graham. Now, again, I'm picking on you only because you're the only name that jumps out at me right now. I'm sure Johnson and some of the other guys, not everybody said they were going to sue and collect. Because some people realize how bad that looks, Lindsey Graham. I don't want to fund any of your shit, dude. So no, you get paid already very well as a senator. And probably all the other bullshit you do, hanging out with McCain, doing your thing. I'm sure you've made lots of money. Hopefully you've invested well. Otherwise, fuck off, man. You don't get any more of our money. The socialist mayor clown show is truly something to behold. A lot of people are just tripping on all these guys, trying to discuss the way they're going to pay for things. Here was kind of a fun one. Mamdani was actually confronted by the fact that Kathy Hochul's not going to fund this free bus nonsense. So they talk about it's not worth 2 minutes. I got better stuff to do. But it, basically says, well, we understand we got to come up with the money. So, I mean, he's saying the right things to a degree, but he's got no ideas how yet. And then this chick, this is not worth the minute 17 at all. But yeah, she's just talking about all the crazy crap that she's going to guarantee housing, universal child care, free K-8 summer care, meaning babysitters, which is extraordinarily expensive, social housing, and shifting land and wealth from corporations to community control. That's the wealth transfer they always talk about. That's literally taking private property and giving it to the state. That's communism 100%. That's exactly what communism does. The state owns everything. You don't own anything. You don't even own yourself, which most of us don't technically. So yeah, she's a pile of trash. She's not going to be able to afford to pay for those things. And she's going to, if a business tries to leave, mainly grocery stores she's picking on, but if a grocery store is like, dude, we're tired of getting robbed, we're tired of this, we're losing money big time in this store, we're going to go ahead and pull out of this location. She's like, you can't do that. And I'm pretty sure they can. So that's, again, another weird communist thing. Hey, what's your face? What's her name? I remember her stupid name. Katie Wilson. There it is. He'd be like, hey, Katie, why don't you do one of them Mamdani things? Do a government grocery store and demonstrate to everybody how extraordinarily expensive it'll be. It'll cost way more than going to Safeway or going to QFC. I'm trying to think of some of the other stores I know that are up there, right? Yeah, for sure. Kroger, probably. I don't know. Is that... Yeah, Safeways are Pavilions or Vons. I forget what they call. I forget what they call the Kroger. It's up there. It's a different name. Federal. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, bunch of crap. Bill Maher is talking about the single-payer healthcare failed in Bernie Sanders' home state. I think it's about to the 3-4 minute mark when he finally gets to it. I don't think I'm going to play this whole 8-minute clip. But the first part of it's kind of interesting. And really when he gets to the point about kind of slamming Bernie Sanders' ridiculous attempts at making this work in his own state and how small scale that was, and that failed to work. So a lot of people are starting to realize this Obamacare single-payer stuff is a bunch of crap. Doesn't work. At least Bill Maher's talking about that at the end there. I thought that was I was like, damn, dude, that's kind of brutal, but whatever. Yes. It didn't work. None of that stuff works, and we're realizing that. Obamacare is a disaster, just as expected. All the Republicans voted against it back in the day, and again, most of those Republicans were rhinos and part of this nonsense, but again, it's what you look like to everybody else that matters in politics, right? So, yeah, 15 years ago, Democratic-controlled House and Democrat-controlled Senate were debating the health care proposals. Republicans all said, especially unanimously, that this would cause prices to go up, that this would cause huge inflation, that this was not going to go the way they were claiming. As it turns out, they were 100% right. The facts, the heritage analysts noted, are in. The ACA dramatically increased health insurance premiums and cost sharing in the individual market. The ACA collapsed insurer competition in the nation's individual markets. The ACA failed to meet official enrollment targets in the individual markets. The ACA is pricing middle-class Americans out of individual market coverage. The ACA expanded government coverage while wrecking the private individual health insurance market. The ACA compromised access to care for persons, including those with pre-existing medical conditions enrolled in the nation's individual markets. The ACA failed, and failed miserably, to attract young people into the exchange insurance pools. The ACA Medicaid expansion prioritizes able-bodied adults, many of whom are working, over the elderly, the disabled, and poor women and children. The ACA did not, as predicted, bend the curve of America's health care spending. The ACA's vaunted delivery reforms did not yield the anticipated savings. Caused everything to cost more money. Then a little bit down the road, they realized there's a problem, and they started having the government fund it, and even that's now gotten out of hand and needs more and more funding. This is a nightmare, and throwing more money at it is redonkulous. So fortunately, the shutdown brought attention to this. Also, our government's going to probably go into another shutdown at the end, somewhere in January, they're saying. I don't know if it's the end of the month or what, but we're only funding out until January such and such. At that point, they're going to need another CR of some kind. Now, they did fund some stuff, I think, for the rest of the year, like military and a number of things, government jobs, I think. But yeah, no, not healthcare, not a lot of stuff that is the expensive stuff. They covered the basics, the stuff that I think tariffs can probably pay for. And they've left the other stuff that we're going to have to talk about later. We also know that come December, well, I mean, already at the start of this month, the open enrollment happened, so it was too late to do anything. So we know a lot of people's insurance is going to go up. It's what's going to happen. Again, guys, I can't afford insurance. I don't have it. It's too expensive. So, I mean, you know, this is being said as someone that doesn't have it. I'm also not worried about it because I generally take care of myself, and I don't believe in the healthcare system that we have. It's not healthcare. It's actually injury finding or problem finding and then getting you onto medications and everything, making you have to come back to the doctor over and over and over. It's self-serving. It's not health finding. It's not helping people create better health in their lives. It's quite the opposite, in fact. So I don't trust it, and we're going to go into a bumpy part. Guys, it's going to get better. It will get better, but for a year or two, you might not have benefits. You might have to try to be a cash patient. I mean, if you're somebody I know that's receiving benefits of some kind, and you're Medicare or Medicaid, that should keep on going. But if you're somebody that's in the actual Obamacare world and having to use that nonsense healthcare, it sucks. That's all I can say. It's going to get fixed, but we have to feel the pain, not necessarily you and I as much, but we're going to. But we have to feel the pain as a country, or we'll never do anything about it. Redistricting, it could determine the 2026 elections. I think they're making a lot of noise about this. I think there's so many things that are going to come out between now and then, and paper ballots and getting rid of machines with the executive order that's eventually going to come. All of these things are going to make the elections impossible for them to cheat. It's just going to. So we're going to see what happens. And so don't get too hung up. They're trying to spin us into the direction of, oh no, get nervous about, no, don't worry about it. There's going to be Democrat areas that are going to vote red. That's it. Because paper ballots won't allow them to cheat. There's a lot of Democrat areas that use illegal registrations, that use dead registers, all that stuff, to change the vote count with mail-in ballots. Those are going to go bye-bye, for at least federal elections. Now, maybe internally, California can still continue to screw us for a little while. But if they're doing one system for the federal election and then, but do the electronic stuff over here, or we're going to mail you ballots and spend the next 16 months counting them over here for this election, well, Californians should start to make noise. I think a lot of us, we're going to overwhelmingly vote red for presidential and Senate and House, as far as federal is concerned. And then if they do nonsense shenanigans, at least here in California, I'm sure New York and Illinois and many of these other locations, if they continue to do the shenanigans, we'll see it. So we'll see this ultra blue internal thing, but we'll see everyone went external red. And they're going to be like, something's not adding up here. And that's probably what we'll see, especially New York, because they allow non-citizens to vote. And they got a bunch of them. California as well. Now, they just give everyone a driver's license, which you don't need to prove your ID at all. You just show up and say who you are. Doesn't even matter if it's true or not. That's all they asked me. And then they ask you to verify your address. So long as you know the address of the name you've stolen, yeah, you're good. You got it. You can vote for whoever you want. So again, don't worry too much about it. Overall, right now, it looks like the actual Republicans are going to pick up seats, which I don't even get hung up on this. Again, we've got bigger problems and things are going to change. We'll get there. Now, regarding Epstein, let's start here because, again, I think Trump's playing 5D chess. I think Trump is actually 15 steps ahead of these guys. They know what's up. And I'm not going to give him all the credit. He's got brilliant minds working with him, whether there's 5 or what. I mean, there probably is very few. But Trump is also very good at this. He's an excellent showman. He understands that part. That's so important for what he's doing. The showman part is so important. Greatest Showman ever or whatever. That's a great movie, by the way. If you guys have seen that, it's a musical. It's fantastic. Oh, my God, it's so good. The Wolverine guy's in it. It's a pretty good voice. Great music, great songs. Anyway, not trying to get off the track here. Here's Donald Trump talking about Epstein before he was running. And he never campaigned, never once. Not once. I dare any of you guys to find a legitimate recording that's not AI. But Trump never once campaigned on Epstein, ever. That was never something he was going for. A lot of us have been tricked into it. Again, it's 5G warfare. A lot of us get caught up in a lot of this stuff because we don't get it. So we just kind of bounce around with whatever they're saying. You know, we're watching a ping pong match. That's fine. If that's where you're at in this process, cool. Keep watching ping pong and enjoy it. Get your head back and forth and just try not to hurt yourself, right? But for some of us that understand the bigger picture, it's a little different. It's not scary. We're kicking ass. So many people can't see it. And this ain't opium. This is actually just paying attention to all the victories we've got going on. Yeah, sure, the fight's still on. And they're a tough foe. You know, I don't for one second take them for granted. A lot of people are like, they're stupid. I don't think that for a second. No. The deep state's definitely not stupid. They're trapped. They're stuck into a corner, and they're very easy to kind of push into that corner because they have to do what they have to do. And we know what they have to do. So we just take the opposing side of it, which is generally what most of humanity wants, at least 70% of it thus far, 71%. And we force them to have to announce the opposite. We're kicking their ass every which way. That's what's happening. Not everyone sees it.
You raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many times.
The Clintons are friends
well,
of
I
yours.
can't say friends, but I know
You're friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play at my clubs.
Are you saying there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now, maybe not. But he could end up being a political problem.
That's one question.
Right now, he's Teflon, and he was. So look at how far we've come. Look at how much we've made this be a thing that just the Democrats and a couple rhinos, Marjorie Taylor Brown, for example, because everything green that dies turns brown. It was Trump's quote. I love it. Massey, a number of these guys are horrible. So, yeah, we've tricked them all into it. Show themselves. A lot of people are calling this, and I agree, the separation of the wheat from the chaff. And we are. And this is one of the things that's very hard on our side of the fence. And I keep watching it, and I've gotten better at realizing, this is all part of the deal. People need to wake up. People within our own group still need to wake up as we're waiting for humanity to wake up. And what's really funny is humanity being asleep. They don't think they're asleep. They think they're awake. And many people that are Republicans that follow a lot of this great conspiracy stuff that's out there think they're awake because of that. There's levels of awakeness. I've tried to say this before. And, we're all in different places in that. And there's a group of content creators that fit each one of us at the levels we're at right now. I like to think I'm serving my core group, and my group is growing every single day. So I know I'm doing what matters from my standpoint. And I may not agree or be involved with some of people that are certainly much, much bigger than I am. But we're also trying to do very different things. So again, there's a purpose for all of us. And for any of you content creators that are out there, serve your purpose. Don't worry about the numbers. If you become a number chaser, you'll fail. You'll fall to the dark. I promise you. There's no other way to go. Like the start of this show. If you do it for the accolades, you'll never really do it. But if you do it for the purpose of doing it, because you know it's what you're supposed to do or what's right to do or your calling, in many of our cases, I don't think I could walk away from this even if I wanted, then your glory resides after. Or as they said at the beginning, the freaky dead people, then you're the king. Because you realize you rule your own roost. And you've got those that see that. So again, nothing's as simple as we try to make it. This Epstein stuff's backfiring hardcore. He was live texting with the House Democrat during 2019. The lady that was in charge of she's in charge of the Virgin Islands, which is a territory. So Plaskett, she was involved in this questioning, and she was literally texting Epstein, and they've got the records. So again, nothing crazy, but he was giving them the questions they should ask. Again, demonstrating who was Epstein helping. Oh yeah, the Democrats. Here's another one. Reid Weingarten. 2016 email exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and his lawyer, Reid Weingarten. Epstein sent Weingarten a pasted copy of a Guardian article titled, "So What Does Pizzagate Have to Do with President Bill Clinton?" which states, "It is perhaps Clinton's relationship with Epstein that has the greatest bearing on Pizzagate." Weingarten replied, "Yikes, my boy Jeffrey is everywhere." Tip, thanks to Liz Cronkin for finding this among the Democrats' newly released document drop last week. So thank you guys for dropping the documents. Everyone's trying to make it sound like Trump's trying to stop this. It's in the hands of Congress, not in Trump's hands. Now, this is playing out perfectly. Larry Summers flew on Epstein's private jet to Pedophile Island in 2005 with Ghislaine Maxwell. Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary, Larry Summers, that guy, visited Jeffrey Epstein's private island. Flight records show. 70-year-old economist maintained a friendly relationship with Epstein until his death, as shown in newly released government emails. Flight logs confirm Summers flew on Epstein's private jet 4 times, including a December 21st, 2005 trip to Charlotte, Amalie, St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. 3 flights occurred while Summers was Harvard president from 2001 to 2006 on the jet nicknamed the Lolita Express for allegedly transporting sex trafficking victims and perpetrators. On the same 2005 flight, Lisa Summers, similar to his wife's Alyssa's name, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's madame, now serving 20 years for sex trafficking, were also listed. Summers also flew with Epstein and Sarah Kellen, accused by a judge of knowingly participating in the scheme, from New York to Bedford, Massachusetts as well. Oh, how the truths are coming out. Now, we sort of mentioned it, well, we did mention it yesterday. Raskin leaked Maxwell emails, lied on commutation, prison staff were fired. This is what the lawyer's telling us. So Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney accused Rep. Jamie Raskin of publishing what she called illegally obtained attorney-client emails without fact-checking, lying about Maxwell seeking a commutation to stay quiet about President Trump, and violating constitutional rights for political gains. This comes as employees were fired for unauthorized access to the Bureau of Prisons email system, the same emails that ended up in Raskin's hands. Uh-oh. Now, of course, Jamie Raskin was on MSDNC and was trying to make a point that he's like, this is bullshit. I'm going to go ahead and let his words, I haven't listened to this, so it'll probably piss me off, but whatever.
All they're saying is that somehow they know, and this is very strange to me, that there are employees who've been fired because of what they've done. I'm curious how they would know that. That sounds like a breach of whatever those employees' personnel records are. But in any event, this is her claim that these people were fired because of what they did. The allegation seems to be that her attorney-client privilege was somehow compromised in the TrueLink system. When the inmates log on in the system, they have to click a whole statement that they consent to this being reviewed by the prison, and there's a statement that there is no attorney-client privilege or confidentiality that attaches to them. So we're, of course, not saying where we got any information that we received, and it may not even be from the people that she's talking about. But in any event, she's completely wrong on that.
We're not saying that's where we got it from, but we're going to go ahead and tell you why we think we're legal taking information that not attorney-client privilege. Now, I'm sure there's somewhere in there that says those are not records that are public. In fact, you'd probably need to FOIA them or have some sort of paper trail to get access to them. Otherwise, you're still kind of pulling someone's records that aren't really yours to access. Interesting times that we're in, I can only say. CEO of crowd for hire company calls for transparency in who funds demonstrations. This is a guy we've seen before. I forget. This is Brent. I'm not sure if it's Brent. No, Adam Schwartz wrote in a letter to Congress. This is a guy that we've played before on the. He's one of the biggest out there, but there are others, and they've kind of probably stopped using him as my guest because he's been talking too much. So all these things at work, but he's calling for the transparency. Who funds these demonstrations? Put your money where your mouth is. Let's make this public. So I like it. I like where his mind's at there. We've got some opportunities. Now, a lot of people, when you got lemons, you make lemonade. That's how opportunities work. That's how people get wealthier and wealthier. So again, this isn't necessarily for everybody out there, but this is something important to pay attention to. Labor demograph. That's how you usually say it, but with the ER, it's strange. The labor demographer issues warning. College-educated oversupply is here. Got a whole bunch of people with college degrees, mostly worthless, not degrees in like chemistry or physics but probably like humanities and stupid shit like that. They can't get jobs. There's an overwhelming number of people that have degrees that are not and cannot get jobs doing anything right now, paid much of anything. So a whole bunch of people. What we have a shortage of is people that can actually wrench on cars or are mechanics, people that are just electricians, plumbers, these types of things. HVAC. We need more people to get these skills. So again, if any of you guys have kids that maybe are even out of school and they're like, what do I do? Don't worry about doing what you're doing. Learn a better skill. Try to get into a company even at the ground level. I don't make very much, Dad. Yes, so you're going to. You're going to have a job that AI can't replace. We've got all these data facilities and electrical buildings and all this stuff that we're going to be having to build. They're going to bring skilled laborers to build those. So construction, like I said, electrical, all that stuff. This is where the need is. Not the wants, but the needs. I would push people to move in that direction. Also, if you're someone looking for work and you've maybe got a job that sucks, try to look, right? Especially you guys that are electricians. Try to see where you can get moving around because there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of opportunity. Another example of opportunity, my friends, a lot of October foreclosures filings jumped 20% year over year. Compared to this time last month, we're up 20%. This can also mean an opportunity to pick up a house at an auction, which you're typically going to get at a lower price. Now, again, a lot of these auctions are where BlackRock and Vanguard and all those nonsense show up. But this is a place where if you've got some money, you might actually be able to make this happen. Or if you've got maybe a decent credit limit afforded to you because of your situation where you might be able to pick up a house. Something to keep in mind. Again, opportunities. There are a lot of people that are going to lose, and it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people that have maybe gotten laid off. But there's also a lot of progressive people that fall into this category as well, or progressive people that aren't going to be able to get into the home market. Maybe end up being your renters. I don't know. We'll see. But this is an opportunity. So again, just something to keep in mind. While lemons are falling, remember what you can do with them. Always. That is like when stock markets crash, that's the time to buy, right? Well, at least once it gets to the bottom. Not, you want to make sure you're getting in on that point. But also people with crypto, when the stock market crashes, crypto is going to crash because people are going to pull that money to buy stocks because that's actually a great value. So again, when calamity happens, it's actually an opportunity. And it's a different way to wire your mind, but it's true nonetheless. Again, I'm not looking for collapse, but I'm prepared for it. Is that wrong? Because we see it coming. Trump administration unleashes illegal immigration crackdown in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is awesome because we've been hearing all sorts of crazy stuff over there. So we've got another place where the governor is a friend, but the mayor is not. This will be fun because the mayor's going to have a harder time suing, but they'll probably still find some district court. But yeah, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, Democrat of course, criticized the federal government's involvement. Anyone surprised? But when it's safer, I think people will enjoy. ICE leads joint effort to conduct welfare checks on roughly 450,000 Biden-era unaccompanied minors. They're literally trying to go door to door, if you will, and check. Wellness check. I want to see this child. Where's this child at? We don't know. Oh, what do you mean you don't know? They were in your custody. Yeah, they ran away or whatever. We're looking into it. 450,000 children trafficked and missing. South American crime ring has been terrorizing Wisconsin communities. It's pretty messed up. Minute 36, probably worth it just to give you all an idea of what this illegal immigration's doing.
Trail cameras in Mequon capturing video of people wearing backpacks and gloves with their faces covered, creeping through the woods.
Burglaries are not an uncommon thing, but the amount of burglaries that are happening, the way they're happening, it's uncommon.
Mequon Police Captain John Hale says investigators believe the same group has broken into about a dozen homes there this year.
This is happening throughout the state and throughout the United States.
Tell me about this organization. What do you know about them?
Basically, what we know is that they're from South America, and then they're coming up here to commit these crimes.
In all of the cases Mequon police have investigated, they say the group of burglars walks through the woods, approaching a house from the backyard. Then they get in by breaking a door or window.
The burglars targeting homes in cul-de-sacs, striking in the early evening hours of Thursday through Sunday when no one is home.
They're taking people's jewelry, currency, and high-end handbags. That's all they're taking in a house.
Video from last year shows a break-in at Bucks forward Bobby Portis's River Hills home. Investigators believe a Chilean crime group behind that break-in and multiple others at pro athletes' homes across the country.
Is it believed that these are a part of the same network?
There's a high probability that they are all connected with those burglaries also.
Mequon police warning homeowners to activate their security systems. They believe this camera was detected by the would-be burglars who left.
Oops. I mean, who left to go back and put masks on their face because they realized they just found a trail cam? Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And from the same place that delicious sea bass comes from. What the frick? That is jacked up to the bone. Here's another messed up story that's going to piss you off. Not that I'm trying to piss you off per se, but...
Jamie Middleton took commercial driver's license, or CDL, written exams for 7 different people. Investigators say that each time she'd use disguises, sunglasses, and surgical masks to look like a different person taking the exam. For the right price, workers would have on their computers a photo of the person who was supposed to take the test, but they'd let Middleton, who's clearly not the person on the computer screen, take it instead. She'd split a $1,500 to $3,000 payment for each bogus test with accomplices in the DMV.
That's wild. People at DMV getting paid so they could have immigrants be out on the roads. That's dangerous.
What's funny, too, is that they're literally, I mean, I guess if you've got prescription glasses, but yeah, it's just that you normally wouldn't let them put a mask on when they're taking a picture like that. You wouldn't think anyways, because that's kind of messed up. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, she's taking the test for illegals. That's outstanding. Gotta love that. Feel great. Incredible product. I've been really enjoying this, and actually it's first off, they've got a bunch of products. I've ordered those. I haven't gotten them yet, but they got a whole bunch of products, by the way, which is very, very cool. This particular product's what we're focused on and going to stay focused on. It's also what I'm using currently. Now, a lot of us have problems with insulin resistance, and it's something that we need to kind of pay attention to. A lot of diabetes, a lot of crazy stuff like that going on because of this insulin independence that many people are experiencing. I'm trying to stall here while I find my video that I'm going to play for you guys. But there it is. The protocol is actually awesome. It's 3 packets. Okay, you got these packets, like they come in a bunch of different flavors. There's 0 sugar in it, and they're awesome. So it's just this little packet. Okay, it's a powder. Drop it into water. This is what I do anyway. There's a shaker you can get because it takes a little bit to mix it. It doesn't mix easily, but it mixes. It totally mixes. I just take a fork into a big bottle of water and I just spin the shit out of it for a little while, like a minute, right? And just kind of swirl it down and around. Gets all in there. And then I just drink the thing, okay? Do this twice a day with this particular packet. It deals with your cravings. It helps you feel full. It's actually got good products in it that are helping your body sort of deal with the carbs and stuff that we deal with. It's just beautiful. It's got this yerba mate. They're going to talk about it in the video. But it's just this amazing product that helps with your appetite. And then at the end of the day, you do one of these. So you do 2 of these during the day, and you do 1 of these with dinner or after dinner. And this helps. This is like it's basically, what is it? It's not like it's fiber, and it's not like crap fiber. It's like legitimate fiber that's actually meant to help your body absorb and digest properly. People are losing weight big time, and it's not fast. It's not like you're going to lose ridiculously fast. No, it's a healthy way to lose weight. But what the big thing is a lot of people are seeing their AO1C number come down. It's actually helping remove this insulin resistance, which is causing a lot of the diabetes that many people are experiencing. Now, again, diabetes is a complex thing, but many of us are eating and drinking products during the day that are causing a lot of this insulin spike, and that's the problem, right? Carbs aren't necessarily your enemy, but when you're constantly eating carbs at different parts of the day, you constantly spike your energy and then brings it back down, spikes your energy and brings it back down. And what ultimately happens is your body stops spiking insulin. It becomes resistance because it's like, you keep doing this to me. Forget it. I'm not going to anymore. So then your body spikes in carbs or sugar, and you don't do the insulin because your body's tired of doing it. It just thinks you're full of shit, basically. And at that point, you become insulin resistant. And that is where a lot of the diabetes happens. That's where your AO1C number starts to go higher and higher and higher and higher. You can actually turn that around. Just doing 3 packets a day in water. Water's super good to drink anyways. It's going to help you with your appetite and cravings, and it helps you with your metabolism. It helps you with the fiber in your body. It helps you with all the little key components, and people are noticing huge differences. Literally, people losing weight. And again, not crazy fast. This dude's still got probably a little ways to be. He's looking sharp, right? Got that pudge. That was basically me a little bit ago. It's pretty close to what I look like right now, right? And here's a beautiful lady, right? Same thing. Again, people are noticing huge differences. Don't trust me, but certainly try it. It's not that expensive. It's an amazing product. And it's one of those things where if you're noticing it like I am, you're going to go ahead and do it month after month after month. And then when you go see your doctor and they test your AO1C numbers, you're not going to say anything to them. You're just going to enjoy and smile when they say, wow, your numbers are coming down. That's weird. What are you doing differently? Nah, I'm just eating healthier. They don't need to know. I mean, it's not a secret, but it's an amazing product. And the owners of this company are super cool kids. Love them, and I love what they're bringing to the table. Check this out. It's pretty incredible.
If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away, listen up. There's a simple daily protocol they don't want you to know about that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health. Up to 88% of Americans potentially suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great protocol is a simple 2-step daily system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. Step 1. Unimate, a powerful yerba mate extract clinically shown to boost mood, increase mental clarity, and support fat burning. Step 2. A patented fiber matrix called Balance. Taken before meals, it helps regulate blood sugar, curb cravings, and support healthy insulin response. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body actually understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, sugar cravings, gut health, systemic inflammation. This isn't a trend, it's a transformation. Start today to reclaim your health with the Feel Great protocol.
Yeah, this stuff will make a huge difference in your life. All you got to do is go to OTF Special, OTFSpecial.com, OTFSpecial.com. irresponsible.com. Check it out. It's an incredible product, and I think you're going to find the same thing that I have, that you're actually going to feel great. I've got more energy. It is something that's just, it's weird. When I drink it, and it takes a little bit because I guzzle it. Some people probably sip it. That might be a smarter way to do it, frankly. But I kind of guzzle it. And so at first I feel a little like, ooh, you just drank a bunch of water. And then, I don't know, 30 minutes later, man, I don't know. It's weird. It feels good. I'm feeling great. And this stuff is actually helping. I got my weight at a really cool place right now. My stomach's actually starting to look really good, even with some of my habits. And I mean, from my standpoint, alcohol is oftentimes processed similar to like carbs. So benefit from Dan, you know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily overweight, but I certainly have some habits in my life that maybe aren't the healthiest. This is one way that's helping me. I also love how it's this product's called Unimate, whatever. But it's yerba mate that's in it. Why isn't it called Unimate? I don't understand. It doesn't matter. You want to go to otfspecial.com. That's otfspecial.com. Check it out. It is really, really good stuff. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it. And you'll come back for more. And if not, try it one time. It's not going to be the end of the world. Maybe not all things work perfectly. But I'm hearing so many awesome positive results from people all over the place. And we will get, there's a place on there actually when you log into my area where you're actually able to put your own, like, this is what it's doing for me. And you're going to be stoked. You're going to be stoked. More than 70% of Palisades fire victims are still in temporary housing. This, again, is Gavin Newsom is a mess. Here's somebody kind of explaining some of the new nonsense that's coming out about the Palisades fire and how Gavin Newsom's a mess.
The Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass Palisades fire cover-up is crashing down. That's right. A new whistleblower has reached out to inform me that days after the January 1st Lockman fire, this firefighter was well aware that Gavin Newsom State Park was still smoldering and that there was a red flag wind advisory. He called the chief to be like, hey, we got to go back. We cannot leave the frickin' state park like this. He was ignored. Here's where the story gets really good. This firefighter was all set to speak to the congressional investigators anonymously, confidential, backed out of it because they've made clear, the leadership at the LAFD, that if anyone from the fire department tells the truth about the Palisades fire, they're going to get fired. They're going to lose their pension. The LAFD is actively covering up 12 people burning alive and 7,000 structures burning to the ground. But guess what? Bad news for you, LAFD leadership. You're all going to get exposed. So good luck.
And I'm going to happily enjoy every step of the way of this as we destroy these people more and more. San Francisco Democrats accused of hiding crime explosion from the public. It's just insane. More and more craziness going on in my state. Check it out.
Did you know that there were over 900 felony drug arrests in San Francisco last year that are not reported in the crime stats that you see? I love Mayor Leary and what he's trying to do on crime, but we got to be honest about the facts here in San Francisco. There's actually two databases for crimes in the city. There's one database of crime stats reported by you and other citizens, and there's another of crimes that the police encounter. And that means incidents like the 5 people who were shot at Ocean Beach over the weekend, the absolutely insane situation where a police officer was bit and shot by a dog, the 150% increase in drug bookings in jail in Q1 of this year. All of those are not reported in the media that you see. And so it's not just that you feel like things are getting more dangerous on the streets of San Francisco. The reality is that there's more crime in the city, and you're not seeing their truth.
Welcome to how the Democrats like to manage, how they like to try to pretend, no, we're down on crime. No, you're not. You're not even close. You're lying, which is normal. Protesters stormed Mexico City streets, branding President Claudia Sheinbaum the narco president, and accusing her of being bought off by the cartels after the assassination of Uruapan's mayor on October 31st. Uruapan's? Probably closer to that, but so a lot of people are out in front of the presidential palace or whatever that's called, and they're not happy. They are definitely protesting. So we'll see where that continues to lead. U.S. tested a thermonuclear bomb without warhead in the Nevada desert. It didn't blow up nuclear, but all the other stuff is what they were testing. Make sure all those products work. They also did multiple releases from F-35 jets. They wanted to verify that they could, in fact, drop one of these from an F-35. That's been verified. And I think a lot of that was meant to demonstrate to the world, hey, we can put these things in stealth craft and drop them on you, and they work, just so you know. Just, for those paying attention at home. From nukes to AI-powered drones, Saudi Arabia's MBS That's the Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he's got one of the easier names to say at least, thank goodness. He's bringing a wish list. He's coming to visit Trump. He wants a whole bunch of stuff, nuclear reactors, possibly nuclear weapons. They want to be part of our nuclear umbrella. Trump, we're hearing, is saying he's not opposed to this. Again, this would put some pressure on Qatar and the choices they're making because they're under Pakistan's defense shield, if you will, which is stupid. Saudi Arabia's like, no, we want you guys. We don't want these people over here. That's going to make UAE kind of think differently. Saudi Arabia's also talking about they want to make UAE's deal. It looks like there's a competition going on, but they want to make UAE's deal look like crap. So they're probably going to buy a whole bunch of aircraft, a whole bunch of weapons. Needless to say, they're one of the few countries on the planet that seems to have some extra cash. Maybe not quite as much as they're pretending, but certainly quite a bit. Trump said he's sort of made up his mind on the military action against Venezuela. Of course, he says he's not going to tell anybody what it is. That's stupid. Why would he? But obviously, we've got a carrier group in the area. I don't know. A lot of people are saying the longer it sits there, the more it's just wasting money. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think we've literally got a carrier group in a location that we need it. And it needs to stay probably for a little while. Like I've said before, when Taiwan is dealt with by China, however that plays out, we will take ownership of the Panama Canal. Done. End of story. And that will be a huge problem for China. That will be huge when it comes to strategic choices that China's like, you want to stop giving us precious metals? Okay. You can't use Panama Canal anymore. That's going to add weeks to any transit they try to do. And the tip of South America, which is the next place they've got to go, is extraordinarily dangerous. Now, China's talking about buying some land and creating a railroad across Brazil as a means of getting around that. Okay, still going to add weeks to the whole process. Again, a train could probably go all the way across Brazil in a reasonably short period of time, but then at the same time, how vulnerable is that train to robbery and other things? It's like in the middle of a jungle. Strange how that will all play out. China's not sitting as pretty as they try to make it sound like. Almost half of Japanese support defending Taiwan. Japan has quite the history with China. Pretty radical, too. The Japanese fucked over the Chinese hard way back when. I don't remember the exact dates, but there was a period of time where there was a huge slaughter of Chinese people by Japanese. Not something that I'm necessarily like saying that's a great thing, because obviously I'm not fond of people killing each other, but they're on board. They also want to get a little more involved with the defense of their country. Government's withholding data that may link COVID jab to excess deaths in the United Kingdom. Look at that. UKHSA argued that releasing figures would lead to distress or anger of bereaved relatives if connections were discovered. Yeah, they argued that last year, a cross-party group expressed alarm over growing concern about UK's excess deaths since 2020. In a letter to UKHSA and the Department for Health, the MPs and peers noted that the critical data mapping COVID vaccine doses to death dates had been shared with pharmaceutical companies, but not the public. They demanded the data be released on the same anonymized basis with no credible reason for delay. Campaign group Us for Them requested the data under Freedom of Information laws. UKHSA refused, citing risks of misinformation harming vaccine uptake and potential identification of individuals despite anonymization. There we go. After a 2-year battle, the Information Commissioner upheld the refusal. England, you've got such a problem going on. New facial recognition vans are rolling around in UK neighborhoods now, just taking pictures of people, scanning them. Weird way to do it, but okay. They're now driving around. At least you know, turn away, right? And don't walk, because they'll record your gait. They'll record everything about you. So if you see a van coming, turn away and just face the other direction. Britons think their country has gone down the drain. Pretty solid guess. You don't need to be much of anybody to figure that out. It's a mess. No Ukraine ceasefire this year is what the Finnish president is saying. He says truce or peace talks could not take place until closer to next spring. So, again, let's keep this war going no matter what, because it's cold. We don't want to talk peace while it's cold. Fucking stupid. I don't know what's going on. U.S. is sanctioning Ukrainian firms now for selling drone parts to Iran. Uh-oh. Ukraine's being sanctioned by us as well. Uh-oh. As well as German company, Ukraine company, India company, China company, Turkey company, and the UAE, all because they're offering support to Iran's drone program, and we're fighting back on that. Kremlin trolls Zelensky after Berlin urges Ukraine to take back fighting-age males. Yeah, Germany's pissed. There's like 1.3 million Ukrainians in that country, 1.2, sorry. And he's like, dude, Germany's like, you need to go back because most of you guys aren't actually working here. You're actually just taking money from us. You need to go back and fight this war for your country. But Germany's had it. And this is the conservative people in Germany that are pushing this, which of course is making them more popular. Russia's Iskander missile, that's their hypersonic one, short range, hits Ukrainian HIMARS. And that's one of the things that we've supplied, as well as some of their own stuff. I forget the name of their Neptune missile, the Neptune mobile short base missile. Those have also been rocked in this particular attack. So again, Russia's... Accuracy is kind of questionable. It didn't look like that came right down on top, but whatever. It's big enough explosion to put a stop to that. So there you go. And that is the end of our wonderful set of news. Got a lot going on. Again, like I said, I got some friends coming over today. This video went longer than I even thought it would. I figured it'd be way shorter, like I've said before. Famous last words. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys realize that we've got a lot of change that's coming. You guys being a part of that is going to be key, and we're going to all be kind of coming at this from our own different levels and own different ways and own different places. We may not all agree with each other completely, but we are all working to further the same ultimate goals, and that is to help this country and hopefully to help this planet. I love you guys, and I am here with you every step of the way. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.